We're in the last chapter, reproductive system. In this system, we're going to talk about gonad, gamete, and fertilization, zygote, these terminologies. So gonads are the reproductive organs. In male, is their testes, female, the ovaries. And the gamete are the cells, reproductive cells. So that is the sperm and the ovary. And when they meet together, it's called fertilization. And the fertilized egg is called the zygote. So each sperm and egg only have 23 chromosomes. And when they combine together, become a zygote, they have 46 chromosomes. The process to produce sperm called the spermatogenesis. And this happens in puberty. So in male, after puberty, they're going to have mitosis, produce those primary spermatocytes. And these are the 46 chromosomes, 23 pairs of chromosomes, exactly the same like the chromosomes in your cell, in your body cell. To produce sperm, you need to decrease the chromosomes number from 46 to 23. So they have to do meiosis. So meiosis only happens in the sex cells, the sperm and egg. They will duplicate the DNA, and they will divide and divide again. So eventually, one primary spermatocyte and will produce 4 cells. We call them spermatid. They are not sperm yet. They have the correct chromosomes. So that after divide twice, they have a correct number of chromosomes. They have 23. But the cells, they are not capable of swimming for long distance. And then they need to go through this process called spermiogenesis. And that's the structure change. So you can think they reshape their body from those ball structure to those sperm structure. And now they are ready to swim through the whole uterus fallopian tube to find the egg. So this process is called the spermiogenesis. And after puberty in males' testes, every day this happens. So every day the male produces millions of sperms. And they don't live for too long. They live for about 21 days. And they will be recycled, they will be killed. So most of the sperm actually don't have a chance to go out of the testes. So the male sperm are always fresh, no matter they are 20 years old, 40 years old, and these sperm are always younger than 21 days old. When we talk about the female, it's very different. So let's look at the female. Female produce the egg is called the oogenesis. So after birth, they have this primary oocyte. And this number is fixed. And they'll do this process, duplicate the chromosome, and ready to divide, and suddenly they stop. So after the baby is born, the female baby is born, from here to here, well, it takes about 8 to 12 years. So meiosis 1 complete after puberty. That's the magic part. We don't know why. They just go into sleep and wait for 10 years, and suddenly they wake up, do the meiosis 1. And every month, only one of them mature. So they'll do the meiosis 1, meiosis 2. And when they divide, they don't divide equally. So different from the male, they divide equally sized. When the female's oocyte divide, they divide one bigger one, one small one, and small one will shrink. So only the bigger one will keep developing. And it will go through the meiosis 2. And this process finish after fertilization, means if there is no fertilization, and this will shrink and die. And that's why the female have the biological clock. So when you are 20 years old, well, this is 20 years old. And when you are 50, well, these are the 50. So the female have the biological clock. That's very different from the male. The male does not have a biological clock. Okay, so this is the sagittal section of the male reproductive system, the structure. I'll leave it to you. So that's the outside structure. Let's look at the peanuts. So inside they have the spongy structure and is responsible for erection. And the blood's gonna flow in. So let's look at the spongy structure. We have to cut it, the cross section. The cross section of the peanuts look like this. So these are the blood vessels. Let's look at this tube. These two called the corpora cavernosa, big spongy structure. Now let's look at this one. This one is called the small one, surround the urethra, called the corpus sponginosum. So these are the spongy structure. And during the erection process, blood flow in, and blood will be kept inside the penis. And it's like the sponge filled with blood, and it causes the erection. Inside the testes, let's look at the male's testes. You have a lot of small tube called seminiferous tubule. And these are the place, seminiferous tubule are the place the sperm mature happen. So after puberty, every day they produce a lot of sperm. And this sperm will go to the epididymis here. When they mature, they will go to the epididymis. They wait in the epididymis for about 3 weeks, 21 days. If they have a chance to come out, most of them actually don't. They will go through the ductus deferens and come out. So most of them they will stay here, and after 20 days they will be killed and recycled, because daily millions of sperm were produced in the seminiferous tubule. So let's look at the seminiferous tubule. They look like this. So this small tube called seminiferous tubule, and inside spermatogenesis and spermiogenesis happen. So that's the process. They will produce spermatogenesis, produce the spermatid, and goes to the spermiogenesis, produce the real sperm. And they will go to the epididymis. The whole process is regulated by the endocrine system, of course. So the endocrine system starts from the hypothalamus, release GnRH. This hormone will go to the anterior pituitary gland, trigger 2 hormones release, luteinizing hormone and follicle-stimulating hormone. So both female and male have these 2 hormones. They use the function in the female's body to name these 2 hormones, but both male and female have them. And let's look at the luteinizing hormone. In male's body, luteinizing hormone's function, it will go to the interstitial cells, and that's the cell in the testes. That's the cell produce testosterone. So testosterone is the main male sex hormone. Its function is to, if you want to use one sentence to explain testosterone's function is to make the male look like a male. So it will go to the whole body, make the muscle grow, and sexual characteristic. It's gonna make the male look like male, and this is why some athletes or some guys want to have big muscle. They can self-inject testosterone because that's its main function, making the male look like a male. And the follicle-stimulating hormone, it will go to the testes. Its function is trigger the spermatogenesis and spermiogenesis, produce more sperm. And of course, hormones will be regulated by the negative feedback. We talk about that in the endocrine system. So to maintain the correct concentration of the hormone. And let's look at the glands. These glands produce a lot of volume. So in the semen, most of them, actually 99% of the volumes come from these 3 glands. The sperm only play a very, very small amount of the volume. And most of them are liquid produced by these 3 glands. The first one is called the seminal vessel. And these glands produce about 60% of volume of the semen. And they also produce fructose. Fructose is just the sugar, the monosaccharide. And the reason is those sperm, they have to swim across the whole Pacific Ocean to find the egg. So they need a lot of energy, so they use fructose. And the prostate gland, this gland grow forever. So this gland contribute to about 30% of the semen's volume. And the last one is called the bulbourethral gland, produce alkaline mucus, like a lubricant. And it's it produces alkaline because the sperm, they like to have the alkaline environment, basic environment. And let's look at this. So the urethra is actually acidic. And the reason is the male, the renal system and reproductive system, they share the same pipes to send the molecule out. So it turned out this tube, most of the time it goes through is the urine goes through. So urine is acidic, and that's why you need to produce the alkaline juice. So the sperm come from here and go to the epididymis and go through the vas deferens, this tube. When they go to here, they go through the first gland, seminal vessel gland, and then go to here, prostate gland. So the 90% of volume come from these two glands. And the last one is the bulbourethral gland, produce the alkaline mucus. So eventually they come out to here. So that's the slides tell you those three glands. And the sperm come from here, from the epididymis, goes through the vas deferens. So if you cut this tube, usually they cut here. It's a surgical vasectomy. They cut around here. It's a local anesthesia only required surgery. And we'll go through these three glands and come out. Okay, now let's go to the female system. And there's a structure outside. I'll leave it to you. And the breast also included in the reproductive system. Okay, let's take a short break.